Hello, welcome to this video, which is about the full moon in Sagittarius. So first of all, I have done a video about this full moon yesterday. So please watch this video if you want to know about everything else that I'm not going to talk about now, which is the aspect of this full moon and everything else apart from the fixed stars, which is why I'm doing this video, because I'm going to speak about the fact that this full moon is conjunct Antares. As you can see, the moon is at 9:56 of Sagittarius, and because it's a full moon, the sun is opposite exactly at 9:56 of Gemini, and the sun is conjunct Aldebaran, a fixed star also. So as you can see, so I show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, the moon is at 9:56 of Sagittarius, and Antares is here, ANT, at 10:08. So it's under 1 degree conjunction. As you can see, Moon Antares here, conjunction 0.12. And same for the Sun. The Sun again is at 9:56 of Gemini and is conjunct Aldebaran. As you can see here on this Sun Aldebaran 0.14. So again, under 1 degree. And it's very, very close, nearly exact to the Sun, and it's here ALD 10 of Gemini. So this is what I'm talking about. The moon is here and the sun is here. So as a reminder, because I explained in more detail yesterday, but as a reminder, so the moon represents your family, your emotional body. It's also about your mother, your land, the general public, the common people, and your private feelings about your personal life. As for Sagittarius, it's about seeking the deeper meanings of life. It can represent a professor, a judge, a scholar of higher studies at university and colleges. And Sagittarius is restless because it's a hot fire. It's a fire sign. So that's why it's courageous and creative. Because it's ruled by Jupiter, we often think of Sagittarius as being generous, as being freedom seeker, with an instinctive knowing. So this energy can also relate to foreign lands, long distance travels, publishing on social media and the internet. Because it's about publishing, and in the past, most people would publish, it was mainly books, but nowadays, when we talk about publishing, we can also include the fact that most of us now, we are publishing on the internet. So publishing in general. So this includes, yes, the social media. And the shadow side of Sagittarius is being an outlaw. It's acting too quickly because of over-optimism. And fanaticism also can happen with this energy, and overspending money as well. We can say Sagittarius is also linked to gambling, because it's a lot of being confident and believing that it's going to turn out fine, like always thinking that we're going to get lucky. So yeah, that's why it's linked to overspending. Spending like there is no tomorrow. So with a full moon in Sagittarius, conjunct Antares, opposite the sun, who is conjunct Aldebaran, someone we thought of as generous could be exposed for lies or for a lack of integrity. Because the sun in Gemini is shining light on some information that we found out by curiosity or by connecting the dots about a situation or person. It could be some data that was reported to us. And we had a fast understanding of how to be either more financially successful, or more importantly, some new knowledge based on facts came up. And because the sun in Gemini is conjunct fixed star Aldebaran, we have to be curious because Gemini is about curiosity. Gemini is also a journalist, a student, a writer. If we want to succeed in our relationships or in finding meaning in life, then we need to be honest with ourselves about where our truth has become a storyline that we keep using to avoid the uncomfortable fact about someone or something, and even about ourselves and about what we naively believe. So we can ask ourselves about our private life. Are we lied? Are we being lied to? And who is lying? And in the media, what is fake news and who is lying? Because Aldebaran next to the sun is related to our protector, the Archangel Michael, the Archangel Michael, asking us to do the right things for the right reasons when it comes to our personal identity and how we are seen and how we make use of the true insights we receive. Because both Aldebaran and Antares are part of the 4 royal stars of Persia. The other 2 are Regulus, who is now at the last at 0 degrees of Virgo, by the way. But yeah, it was at 29 of Virgo and now it's at 0 Virgo. So Regulus is also a royal star, and the other royal star is called Fomalhaut. You see here, where the North Node has just conjuncted. So Fomalhaut also is a royal star. So there are 4 royal stars, which represents the 4 pillars of the heavens, or the 4 corners of the earth, and the 4 seasons. Spring is the eye of the bull for Aldebaran. Summer is the lion for Regulus. Then autumn, the eagle and the scorpion for Antares. Followed by winter for Aquarius, the water bearer. Which is, Aquarius, by the way, is symbolized by a woman carrying water for Fomalhaut. This is a symbolism for the age of Aquarius, being connected to the return of the matriarchy, when we are now starting to transition from a rigid patriarchal era into an evolved feminine with an humanitarian consciousness. So this is why not to be mistaken, because the symbol of Aquarius is actually a woman, if you look at it, and not a man. So in itself, this has a lot of deep meaning. So for now, the royal stars all have a big upward potential. All these stars, they have the same thing in common. With any of these stars, as now we are focusing on Antares and Aldebaran. So there is the potential for a huge rise in power and status and wealth. But also, these are followed by a great downfall most of the time, because it takes a lot of integrity to avoid the downfall that comes after this huge success with these royal stars. This is why royal relates to the sign of Leo, and that's why that often people associate Leos with the ego. Because to be a true queen or a true king, you actually have to be very humble. You have to actually, because Leo is the sign not just of the ego, it's the sign of the heart, of being loving and being generous to other people and people that have, as if you were a king or a queen, to be generous to people who have less than you and to treat them equally. So that's why a true queen or true king would be actually like someone that's actually generous and does put his people or her people first before themselves. So this is why these are royal stars, and to get this success and wealth or whatever fame, then you have to deserve it, to have a good heart. And to have a good heart probably means to be humble and to have integrity in the case of this Antares and Aldebaran. So yeah, because like now with Aldebaran and Antares, to stay successful, moral integrity is required. So these stars have great potential, but also a, a great responsibility. Basically, we need to honor other people and have a good code of ethics. Both the sun and moon are conjunct royal stars at this full moon in Sagittarius. And the moon is conjunct Antares, which is the heart of the scorpion, and the sun is conjunct Aldebaran, the red eye of the bull. And also, it's worth noting at this full moon that not only these two royal stars, are conjunct, but there are lots of other fixed stars involved, as you can see in my previous video. So this means that this event unfolding now is an important time, worth taking time. It's worth taking time to notice it. Because I went over it in my last video, but basically there is another fixed star, Sirius, conjunct with Venus, as you see here. And there is another fixed star called Procyon, conjunct with Jupiter. Is it showing here? Jupiter is going to conjunct it exactly afterwards. So because I think the orb now is like 3. So my little map is only showing when there is 1 degree. You see it here, Jupiter Procyon. So on the 7th of June, 6 days from today. Okay, so, and then like I said before, the North Node of Destiny, which is here at 3 of Pisces, is conjunct Fomalhaut, which we just said was another royal fixed star. So you see, this is another reminder that trusting our inner self, to trust our intuition, and to look at the deeper meaning of the facts is necessary to live a more meaningful life. Because the royal stars are so big and bright, any conjunction with them means that something important is happening now in June. And since Antares is opposite Aldebaran, the lesson is truth against lies, information against belief. Are we going to believe whatever we are told? Are we going to believe whatever is shown to us? Antares brings in jealousy. In the sky, Antares is the art of the scorpion. It is said to have qualities of Mars and Jupiter. This means that this star has flavors of passion, danger, vengeance, and stubbornness. This is a moral test. Can you hold your power without revenge? Beware of the desire for war under this star, as you can end up being poisoned, or poison someone else emotionally, or to poison someone's project or trust, like in betrayal. So we have to beware not to be poisoned and not to poison anything or anyone else. Because Antares is the brightest star in the constellation Scorpius. Antares means anti-Ares. It means rival of Mars. So this self-destructive, reckless, and headstrong star is a potent and powerful martial energy. So when the moon is joined with Antares, it can bring popularity among common people. It can bring influential friends, open-mindedness, and an interest for secret mysticism. This is about being interested in metaphysics or philosophy. And there is also a possibility to change your opinion or belief when the moon is conjunct with Antares. So this combination is beneficial for business and domestic matters, and to be involved with local law affairs. Moon Antares can give great power, honor, and wealth, but benefits may not be long-lasting. Watch out, because with Antares, there is also an obsession with the intensity of change. And so this is a time to keep in mind that we don't have to change and cut things out of our life all the time. Sometimes it's fine if everything is chilled, to simply keep and save what we have that's worth keeping. It's about discerning between when change is not needed and when it's necessary. Also, with the moon and conjunct Antares, if we feel that we've been betrayed, or if our own truth has been suppressed, anger and rage, jealousy and power struggles can surface with this fixed star. Antares is the hidden deadly dangers of the scorpion. It is tenacious. It has a fighting spirit, and sometimes it can love being at war. On the upside, we can now tap into an underworld wisdom. We can protect what is precious to us, because Antares has knowledge of the darkness and the ability to renew and transform rather than revenge. So the lesson with Antares is don't let your wand become your weapon. Don't get poisoned, and don't become poisonous if you have been betrayed. It's advised to stay in integrity, no matter how much you've been hurt. Because there is a law of cause and effect, and the law of karma is real. So I believe it because I know, no, I believe it. I know, I seen it, I experienced it. I've seen it into effect for myself and others many times, like many of you probably. So, for example, I even seen a woman who was very, very like skilled in metaphysics. And yeah, long story short, she was making like huge amount of money, basically, and she was stealing people's energy. with all her talent. And yeah, she used her healing power for her own benefit to take advantage of others, I suppose. Uh, and anyway, so I've seen it that even someone as powerful, as successful as this person, although it took 4 years, but then 4 years later, a whole like 20 years business was completely shut down. Like she was completely gone. Before she was everywhere, and then she was completely gone. And she now lives a completely different life, spending her days asking God for forgiveness. So trust me, I've seen it. Even someone so powerful, sometimes like this story, it took 4 years. So it doesn't matter how long. If you observe, you see the law of karma. Even if we don't want to use a term, like karma, even simply the law of cause and effect, it just is. So nature has her own law. So what comes around goes around. What goes around come around. That saying. Yeah. So this full moon and those fixed stars are a reminder that in life we have enemies to overcome to succeed in getting back our freedom. It is now about discerning when to defend, when to attack, and when to be vulnerable as to let someone in. So let's have the wisdom to walk away, to not revenge, because this full moon is bringing spiritual consequences to any knee-jerk reactions and to any vicious, premeditated attempt to hurt another. Because it's much more productive to put our energy, our complicated, difficult, triggering feelings into our passion, into our long-term goals, into something productive. There is no hurting anyone, and that is going to bring us, some short-term relief and some long-term rewards. There's no two way about it. It's always the best direction to follow. Because when we revenge or do the shady stuff, it just always comes back to bite us later on. So it's just a waste of time. So finally, I would say that this full moon, this time, now, this is a reminder that we are in the Kali Yuga. We are just stepping out of it, which is the lowest of the yugas. We have been programmed to believe without questioning, and we have been brainwashed to believe that the only way to evolve is through suffering. And that is not true, because when we were into a golden age, we were expanding by living, by simply living our potential, by simply having the opportunities to be ourselves and to follow our hearts, passions, and desires. So the question is, because Gemini is about questioning, asking questions. The question is, why do we need to suffer? This is why when we connect to nature and the divine masculine and feminine, divine feminine and divine masculine, both within all of us, all male or female, we all have the divine within us. When we balance both sides of ourselves, then we can connect to the true source of life and love. We can then transcend this energetic rigidity and its suffocating wars, vibrations, which send fears down our spine. This full moon is a radical reorientation. We believe in Sagittarius. But why do we believe? Gemini is asking the question. We believe, what do we believe? And why do we believe it? Now that the truth is exposed, What do you believe? You may have seen or intuited a dark truth, and it disgusted you. As a result, you are now taking a new course of action. You are going onto a new direction with fact, clarity, and with a niner knowing that you will get lucky. And I will see you next time, and thank you for watching. And take care, and bye for now.